within my opportunity, I had a passion. When I was a kid growing up, I whittled on my mother's broomsticks and cut her mop handles off, and I started making things. Well, my parents and everybody else, my dad wasn't a woodworker, said, what's going on here? Well, it turned out that it was hardwood. And hardwood is a specialty type wood that I started doing some investigations through the years, and I have a love for dendrology, the study of hardwoods. And I talked to a forester man right over there, Colin over there, he knows all about dendrology. And that's a study of hardwoods. There's over 20,000 different species of woods available. And I'm not going to bore people with that, but it's a wonderful God's treasure. It's actually the musical notes that you see people play with guitars. Wood is my musical note. I can take all those different woods and fashion them into one-of-a-kind items. So as I was in the space shuttle program, I was inspired to take my love for the wood and fashion space shuttle models while the crews were on orbit. And then when they would come to debrief us, then I would present them, they would autograph them, and they would give them out, or I would get to keep some. So within, obviously, my vocation, I've developed my passion. All of us in this room have a passion. All of us. I was talking to a guy the other day, and I was talking about, I said, what's your passion? He said, well, I like to do woodworking stuff. He said, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I don't have time to work my passion. I said, really? It's not even in a hobby, so I don't have time. Don't have time. I got to do that later when I'm retired and gone or something like that. I'll do my passion. That kind of rubbed me wrong a little bit. I think, we all have passions, and we're in a better state when we work our passions because it is infinite. I find our passions are things that we need to live our lives. And I had an example that happened to me last year. I lost my brother. My brother Steve passed away, my older brother, my only one. One of the hardest things you can ever do is watch a sibling pass away. He was 57 years old. But the reason I discovered why I grieved, why we all grieve, is when we lose somebody that's important to us, we lose our way. We're not grieving for the person that passed on, we're actually grieving for ourselves. And what I discovered is a passion, a well-developed passion, whatever it may be, singing, dancing, playing guitar, whatever it is, if it's well-developed in your life, it keeps you grounded. It keeps you on the railroad track, and also you can include your passion in the person that actually passed on also. So I discovered that. And I won't get into the story, but my brother had a tree. It's kind of a joke that we were always going to hit the tree coming out of his driveway. As it turned out, when he passed away, we cut the tree down, and I was able to fashion a bunch of things for his family out of that tree. So really, the tree lived through his life and gave him a legacy. Now, getting back to the shuttle program. Of course, as we're rocking along, I'm doing my thing in the shuttle program. We get to the point now where we have, and J.R. Thompson knows all about this, J.R. Thompson was very instrumental in getting us back from the Challenger disaster. The hardest thing I'd ever gone through in my whole life as a 26-year-old man, my boss retired, it overwhelmed him, was to have a $10 million inventory put on my head for the external tank of the space shuttle at 26 years old. I could have done one of two things. I could have quit, or I could have just persevered. And I chose to persevere. 32, 33 months we were shut down. I became a better person for going through that. I became a seasoned individual. I'm very glad that I had an opportunity to work with people like J.R. Thompson, John Sharp, these leaders that led us through that horrible, horrible time, but then created solutions for us to get back flying. Now, as we go through that time, I'm rocking along, and I'm a single man at this point in time. I'm getting lonely for sharing. I mean, I had everything I needed. I had my job, I had a home, I had everything else. I but something was missing. So the next level in my life turned out to be blessed, to find and to treasure and to value the most important thing, guys, folks, unconditional love. To find unconditional love and to value that is something I learned at a later age. Incidentally, that is my wife Diane right there. She is my soulmate right there. And that gave me a purpose in life. That gave me the strength that I needed to go through some of those tough times and the decisions that I had to make so I could counsel with her. So not only was I inspired by the previous generation, not only was I prepared, and then I had an opportunity to seize the opportunity to be the youngest man, the youngest teammate on the space shuttle program, but then to work my passion within my vocation, to find and value unconditional love. I got to the point in my life, shuttle program now, because I was known as Shuttle Man. I was known as Shuttle Man for 25 years down, something like that. What's going to happen to Shuttle Man when the shuttle goes away? Who's Shuttle Man going to become? Well, I'm going to have to say some things. The reality is, we all knew the shuttle program was coming down. We knew it was going to be deactivated, and so we were working as hard as we could, but we were actually working our way out of a job. But we maintained our expertise and our pride to move things forward. So I, of course, had a situation where I was kind of losing the emotional element of losing the shuttle program. So I put together a plan, and the plan was of 5 things that I needed to accomplish before the shuttle program went out to give me the strength to continue to the very end. I had started with STS-1, and I wanted to finish what I started on STS-135 30 years later. So I came up with a plan, and the plan's 5th item I accomplished all as of last week. This was item number 5. I had set up a plan to do some things in writing my memoir to really remind our generation what was accomplished with those values, and then also to inspire that generation, that young man that I'm looking at right now, to reach further than we did. Okay? So I'm blessed the fact that now I'm at the point now where the book is done, 3.5 years into it. It's done. I'm telling my wife at this point in time, we're looking at each other, and she says, Scott, it looks like you've reinvented yourself.